There's a particular kind of hesitation that shows up when you're trying to live faithfully, but you don't know the whole plan. You're willing to move, you're wanting to do the right thing, you're not resisting God. You just wish you had more clarity before you took the next step. And when the clarity doesn't come, it's easy to assume that the safest thing to do is wait. I hear this often from women who are responsible and thoughtful and sincere. Women who don't want to rush ahead, but also don't want to make a wrong choice. The tension sounds something like this: I want to do the right thing, I just don't know what it is, and so I hesitate. I know that tension well. There is a season in my life after my divorce that I felt like I needed to step away for a while. I needed to create space and pray and listen. I created my own Eat, Pray, Love summer. A trip to Cambodia and Hawaii, and it was less glamorous than it sounds. That season eventually led me to two different opportunities. An opportunity to work as a missionary in Cambodia, or to do a Youth with a Mission discipleship training school in California. Both felt meaningful, both felt possible, and both felt like they could change the direction of my life. I just didn't know which one I was supposed to choose. So instead of trying to force clarity, I applied for both. And then I prayed a simple prayer. I asked God to close the door of whichever opportunity He didn't want me to pursue. And He did. The door to Cambodia closed, not dramatically and not with an explanation, just closed. And that clarity, as clear as it was, only applied to that step. It didn't tell me what I was supposed to do after my DTS. It definitely didn't answer the bigger questions of what I was supposed to do with my life. It just told me where to place my foot, where my next step was. During the time of my DTS, I spent a lot of time praying and asking for clarity. I desperately wanted to know what I was supposed to do after. I wanted direction that stretched much further ahead. One day while I was journaling, I had a moment that has stayed with me ever since. I sensed the Lord telling me, I can't tell you more. You'll either run ahead or you'll run away. Boy, was that true, as frustrating as it was in the moment. But over the years, I've come to see it as kindness. There's a verse in Psalm 119 that says, your word is a light to my feet and a lamp on my path. It's not a floodlight and it's not a detailed map. A lamp. If you've ever used a flashlight in the pitch black, you understand how this works. It doesn't light up the whole road ahead of you. It just lights up the next right step. And that's often how guidance works. We want illumination for the whole journey. Unfortunately, God usually just provides enough light for obedience today. Faithfulness, I've learned, is not about having clarity. It's about taking the next right step with what you already know. And that can feel deeply unsatisfying when you're someone who likes to be planning and prepared. If you like to think things through, if you don't want to look back later and wonder what went wrong. But waiting for certainty can become a form of self-protection. There's a podcast episode I was listening to recently where Allie Worthington was talking about confidence. She said something that really stuck with me, that often we think confidence comes before action, when in reality, confidence comes from action. It's built through doing the reps, putting in the time, moving forward anyway. If we wait to feel confident before we move, we might never move. Now, of course, that doesn't mean acting recklessly. It doesn't mean ignoring wise counsel. It's recognizing that clarity and confidence are downstream from obedience. Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is take that step, as measured and thoughtful and uncertain as it is, and do it without self-judgment. If you're in a season that you feel stuck because you don't have clarity about the perfect plan ahead, I want to give you some gentler language. Instead of asking the proverbial, what am I supposed to do with my life? You might ask, what's the next step available to me? Instead of saying, I should know this by now, you could look at it and say, I'm allowed to move forward without certainty. And instead of waiting for the fear to disappear, you might let faithfulness look like small, sustainable movement. The lamp doesn't show you the entire road, but it does keep you from standing still in the dark. If you are hesitant right now, not because you're unwilling, but because you care, I want you to hear this. You don't need the whole plan to be faithful. You don't need perfect clarity to take the next step. And you sure don't need to shame yourself for moving slowly. The next right step is enough. And the one who lights the path knows exactly where it leads. If you want to join me on this long way through journey, click subscribe. Friends, may you walk through today held by grace, even if the path is uncertain.